World of Tanks artillery crew skills. So we're going to look at the crew skills on artillery for World of Tanks, and I'm going to tell you which ones you should use and which ones are not useful. So I'm going to use the Lorraine 15550 because it has every crew member, and we'll start with the commander. So first of all, you're probably going to want Brothers in Arms because it's going to help you aim better, and it's going to help you reload faster, and it's going to improve all the characteristics on the vehicle. I would definitely recommend Concealment, although you don't have to put it on the commander, but for the other crew members, you're going to want to get as much concealment as possible because you want to stay hidden. On a small map like Ensk, you're going to get spotted easily. I definitely recommend Recon. You don't have good viewing range with SPG. With Recon, it's going to extend it a little bit, and you might get a little bit additional experience from having Recon, from a little bit of additional spotting damage. And the other reason why is because at the end of the game, when the enemy's looking for you, it's going to extend your range a little bit more. Sound detection is high on the list. This keeps you alive in the game because it gives you a little bit of a warning when the artillery is firing at you. And I'm starting to notice that sometimes I can tell on my own just by listening when the artillery is firing in my direction. I'm not sure, I'm not an expert at it yet. But it seems like that's a technique you can do naturally. So Eagle Eye doesn't really matter very much. The firefighting's not going to matter because they're always going to damage you and they're always going to kill you. You're not going to catch on fire. Repairs doesn't matter. Sometimes you can use repairs because sometimes an enemy SPG will track you and you'll have to move, and if it fires rapidly, repairs will help. Jack of all trades isn't going to matter because in general your crew will not become injured because you have low hit points on the vehicle. Your vehicle will just die. Mentor is actually pretty good because it helps everybody level up a little bit faster. So for somebody like me, I would go with Brothers in Arms, Concealment, Recon, Sound Detection, Repairs, Mentor, Jack of all trades, Firefighting, and then Eagle Eye. But for a lot of beginner players, I would say Brothers in Arms, Sound Detection, Concealment, and then maybe you're going to want Mentor, Recon, and then the other three. Now keep in mind, this crew member might play on a different type of tank that's not an SPG, which is why you might want to consider some of the other options. Because I have enough crew members, mine always stay in the same class of vehicle because I have enough crew for every tier and I have surplus of crew on top of that, including 0 skill BIA. For the gunner, you're going to want Brothers in Arms, and then I would recommend Concealment and Snapshot. Snapshot is going to help your dispersion a small amount, but it definitely works with the tier 10 French SPG. This only matters if they're within viewing range. This only matters if they're within viewing range. I would definitely get Deadeye over Designated Target. I would definitely get Repairs before Firefighting because you're more likely to get tracked by incoming SPG than being set on fire. And Armorer, although your gun can become damaged, they're just going to damage your tank. So it really doesn't matter. So for gunner, I would go Brothers in Arms, Concealment, Snapshot, Repairs, Deadeye, designated target, firefighting, and then armorer. This is the driver. You're going to take brothers in arms first, and I would then take concealment second. I would consider smooth ride is going to help if you move before you fire. So some people, they move, aim, fire, move again, aim, fire. That's when smooth ride is going to benefit. Or if you're in close combat, you're moving around a lot. The clutch braking and off-road driving help. I would get off-road driving because it helps you when you're driving and when you're spinning, and clutch braking helps you when you're spinning. Preventative maintenance reduces engine fire. You're not going to need it for an SPG because your engine's never going to catch on fire. You're not going to need firefighting. You're never going to catch on fire. They're just going to damage your vehicle. Controlled impact is good for SPGs because a lot of vehicles will ram you at the end of the game. You can do more ramming damage if you have controlled impact, but you must be moving. You can't be stationary. So you have to remember, if someone's going to ram into you, you have to hit forward or reverse in order to get the benefit from the additional damage. So I would go with brothers in arms, concealment, then off-road driving and clutch braking and smooth ride, controlled impact, repairs, and then preventative maintenance, because that replaces firefighting. If you have preventative maintenance, you don't need firefighting, and then firefighting. So smooth ride is not when you're turning or when your gun is moving. It's when you're driving forward into position or reversing into position. A good SPG player might do it every time they fire. The clutch braking, spinning the vehicle in the off-road driving, you might also do that if you have a wide open map, open field map. You're going to be spinning the tank around a lot, and that's going to help you out because it gets you into position a little bit faster. You're going to start aiming a little bit faster. You're better off using these. Get off-road driving before clutch braking, because you do driving also, and off-road driving is going to help you in both cases. Radio operator. You're going to want brothers in arms and concealment. Situational awareness helps you get more spotting damage. Call for vengeance helps you get more spotting damage at the end of the game. Repairs is a little bit low, but not that low. Firefighting is very low. On a big map, you're going to want signal boosting and relaying. Signal boosting can save you money, and the reason why is because on your vehicle you have a radio which has a signal range. This one's 400 and this one's 750. If you get signal boosting, and this works with any vehicle, if you get signal boosting, you don't have to buy the higher level radio. You can save money on radios on all of your tanks, which could be, like 50,000 pesos per tank. So having signal boosting can help you out by improving your radio range. Signal boosting is better in the low tiers, not so much in the high tiers, because in the high tiers everyone has good signal range. Number 2, it's good in grand battles because the maps are big. Number 3, it's good on large maps, not so much on small maps like Himmelsdorf and Ensk, and it's good for frontline. So relaying is like signal boosting, but it's good when you have lots of allies, and not so good when you only have a few allies. Signal boosting is good when you have a few allies at the end of the game, not so much when you have lots of allies. So relaying beginning of the game, signal boosting, end of the game. My recommendation, Brothers in Arms. Concealment. You want to save money? You go with the signal boosting. You want extra EXP? Call for Vengeance. On a wide open map, you get a little bit of extra EXP. Could be a few hundred every other game. Few hundred damage. I would go with situational awareness, because overall it's a good skill for light tanks and medium tanks. And if you want to use your SPG to spot, I do it sometimes. Because you can, like if you're a low tier SPG, you can get a lot more spot damage than you can get damage against tanks if you can't penetrate their armor. Firefighting is low priority, so I recommend Brothers in Arms, Concealment. Call for Vengeance, signal boosting, situational awareness, repairs, relaying, and then firefighting. This is the loader. Brothers in Arms, definitely. Concealment, definitely. I would say Adrenaline Rush is good. They need 2 shots to hit you. It means that after you've taken some damage, you're going to reload a little bit faster. Intuition lets you reload faster 1 time when you switch shell types per game. Repairs, if you get tracked by enemy SPG, burst radius. Safe stowage won't matter because the enemy's just going to destroy you. They're not going to damage your ammo rack. You're never going to catch on fire. So I would say Brothers in Arms and Concealment. And then I would suggest Adrenaline Rush. And then I would go with Repairs, Intuition, and then Safe Stowage and Firefighting, because you don't know if he might play on another vehicle. You definitely want to have Safe Stowage if he plays on a heavy tank or medium tank or tank destroyer. This information is also in my forum at cheapbooks.cc. If you look under the SPG tips and the crew tips, you're going to find similar information and my similar recommendations. One tip you can use, you don't have to train a radio operator for this vehicle. Just get a guy with Brothers in Arms, because the perks like Call for Vengeance is still going to work even if he's not trained for the vehicle. Even if he's for like a heavy tank. I'm going to show you an example. We'll pull in someone from another vehicle. This one's from a heavy tank. So he's my heavy tank radio operator. You see his percentage is really low. View range doesn't show what the penalty is. Minus 159 for the signal range. In the higher tiers, it really won't matter so much. And if you have the signal boosting, it will compensate for the signal range. This guy has no signal boosting, but I could have found someone that does. What you do is you make a radio operator that has signal boosting. Let's see if I have one. You know, I don't see one. Okay, so I don't have one for this particular vehicle. But if I did, he would compensate for that value. It shows all these values in red, but it doesn't show what the penalty is. You're going to be concerned with the aim time and with gun loading. So over here it says 2202, right? So we'll switch him back to the regular guy. It says 2247. So it's a loss of 0.4 seconds. Not that big of a deal. If you want to save your gold and save your silver, it's an option that you can use, which I did on some of my tech trees. I only had one radio operator per tech tree for a while. And the reason why is because if he plays in every vehicle, he's going to level up faster. If he's in the wrong vehicle, he doesn't level up as fast, but it's still faster than if every tank had its own radio operator. So, like I said, you get the benefit of all those perks, like the call for vengeance and the concealment and the situational awareness and the signal boosting and the firefighting. You would get all those benefits even if it's not up to 100%. So that's the reason why I did that on many of my vehicles. The other suggestion I would make, if you're using 0 skill BIA crew members, see how this guy's last name is Adam and his is Adam and his is Adam, his is Adam and his is Adam. That's because Adam is the last name I use from 0 skill BIA crew members on the French tech tree. These are all 0 skill BIA. You want the 0 skill BIA as your commander, your gunner, and your driver, and then your loader, and then last, your radio operator. Just use the regular crew members because you're probably going to get fewer crew skills. Also, don't assume that the commander has the most skills. The gunner and the driver, depending on what tank you're playing, might have skills that you want. That means that you're going to want to put the, like in this case, the driver has 1 extra skill than the gunner, so you want to prioritize him with the 0 skill BIA crew member. Same with the commander. Okay, so those are my crew tips for artillery for World of Tanks. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.